Oh, you're welcome back. Time for us to change our conversation now and talk about blood. Yes, blood. I'm sure we've all, either whether you're on social media or you have a phone, you must have gotten a broadcast or a text message or seen a tweet at some point in the last couple of years asking you to come to somewhere, to come to a hospital to donate blood. Especially with the rise of terrorism in Nigeria over the last couple of years, we did hear a lot of that happening. We're going to be talking about the World Blood Donor Day, which was on the 14th of June, a couple of days ago, on Wednesday to be precise. And I have here with me two people who know a lot about this topic. Temi Giwa, founder, Life Bank. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And of course, Dr. Wale Adeosun. Thanks for coming.
Hello, good afternoon.
You run an organization that basically is tied to donation of blood, right? With Nigeria as a case in point, or Lagos, which is your particular area of emphasis now, or concentration. How does that work? How does your work? What you do? How does it work?
Okay, so I'll start with why. Right. A lot of people who don't have a direct experience with needing blood are not aware of the significant problem that we have. So, for example, 26,000 Nigerian women die every single year from blood not being available at the hospital when they need it. The highest cause of maternal mortality is something called postpartum hemorrhage. The woman just gives birth and bleeds and then bleeds to death. And same thing for child mortality, significant amount. Same thing for people in, just general surgery. It's a significant problem in Nigeria of people not having blood when they need it and then dying from it. So what we do is basically try to get more people to give blood and then move the blood that's given to the hospital when it's needed. And try to solve the problem. Make sure people
sounds pretty simple,
dying.
but it's not that simple.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, Dr. Wale, I mean, based on what she's just described now, which is, we don't need to get to a disaster for people to understand that people need blood. How much of an emergency is this?
It is a big emergency. It is, I mean, like you said, with maternal mortality, postpartum hemorrhage is one of the reasons for maternal mortality and the level at which it is in Nigeria. And it's very important that, blood donation be a lifestyle for a lot of young people. And that's what we're trying to do, just advocate for a lot more voluntary, non-remunerated donations. And I mean, the work is a lot, but WHO said with 1% of the population, if you can get that amount of people to donate regularly, there will not be any blood
just
issues
1%.
1%.
Just 1%.
So I mean, if we can get that amount on a regular basis, we won't have any conversations about trying to...
What is a regular basis?
3 to 4 months.
Every 3 to 4 months?
Yes.
Okay.
So women
and that's healthy?
Right. So women can give every 4 months and men can give every 3 months.
Okay.
So that's the general rule.
So is blood scarce in Nigeria right now? Because I know, I do get an impression that it might be scarce, but not everywhere. How bad is it? Is it an all-encompassing issue?
So blood is scarce everywhere, right? It's a major problem every single way. Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, maybe even Port Harcourt, and maybe Enugu, you will still have blood most of the time, but it's still scarce. But I mean, if you're now in the village, that is definitely completely scarce, right? So there's that. So the problem is a little bit graduated based on where you are. But also the bigger problem I actually have found was blood is scarce, but what's actually very important is blood doesn't get, even when blood is available, it doesn't get to where it's needed on time. So even though there's blood in Lagos, let's say for example, there's about 1,000 pints in different blood banks in Lagos, there will be a hospital somewhere today who is not aware of where the blood is, how to get it,
access it,
and how to get it fast enough for the patient, where a patient would actually die today in Lagos, in Abuja, all over Nigeria.
And these are supposed to be the urban centers.
Absolutely.
So in a typical hospital now, what happens when there's a surgery going on or a childbirth, like you said? Is there ready blood available, or you always have to, every single time, look for donors?
I mean, the idea is to try to ensure that there's always blood before a surgery, before childbirth, before a cesarean section, for example. But you can only estimate the amount of blood that will be needed.
Yes.
Say 2 pints, 3 pints for every surgery. But you don't know what the surgery is going to eventually look like, what the outcome is going to eventually be. So you might require more than that amount of blood. And then that's where there's more problem or trouble trying to access more blood at that particular time. But it's different in tertiary institutions like government hospitals and at private institutions. Private institutions, they most times buy from blood banks, and you're supposed to make a deposit to go access to get the blood and buy. So, for example, a pint at some banks might be, say, 25,000, and you're needed to get 3 pints. So you're paying 75,000 upfront without surgery, without the cost of admission, without the drugs. So at that amount, you're already down by 75%, by 75,000. So, I mean, at different institutions, there are different needs. The government hospitals are a lot better because they have an arrangement with, for example, like the Lagos State Transfusion Board. They have easier access. But the private institutions, it's a lot harder to get.
Yeah, they have to pay.
In terms of that, I sort of disagree a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want to turn your panel into a slug fight.
Whatever it is. Just want to learn.
Right. So I think in government hospitals, of course, there's more access, and it's cheaper, of course. But a lot of times when there's no blood in the hospital, instead of trying to find it for the patient, they send the patient to go find it. So like, I have a child admitted into a hospital. That's actually what causes all the text messages and Instagram posts. Please come and donate blood. Because it's
they
like,
tell you, go and look for blood.
Go find it, right? Your son needs 3 bags of blood. Go find it.
That's sort of typical with government hospitals with a lot of things.
Yeah,
unfortunately with blood as well.
Absolutely. Blood, drugs, oxygen, whatever it's needed that they don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people there do a lot of work and they work really hard, but sometimes they just don't have enough resources to help everyone.
With what you do at Life Bank now, which is where you are a center where people donate and then you distribute, I want to believe, right?
Yes.
What are some of the challenges you face and that are sort of unique to Nigeria?
It would be infrastructure, right? So when we started, we originally wanted to be a technology company. Just get the supply, put it on a marketplace, have the hospitals come and request those stock, whatever pint they want. So for example, hospital A needs 10 bags of O negative. Just search, simple, this is where it is, go to the blood bank, pick it up. What we found out was they didn't actually have, there was no way to get it to them on time, right? So we had to build a a logistics fleet, right? We had to buy bikes, we had to get cold chain equipment, the right state-of-the-art cold chain equipment, just to be able to, get the blood that we've helped them find, that we've discovered for the hospital to the hospital in time to save the patients. And that was like a significant challenge for us to actually just have to become not just a technology company, but a logistics company as well. With a small company and a small team, having to do that, took a lot of resources and a lot of hard work. And then also we have to be open 24/7 and actually have like a call center, have dispatch ready, round the clock. But it's been really incredible and rewarding work for us.
One of the biggest fears for a lot of people who receive blood is always how safe it is.
Right.
How safe is blood in Nigeria, and what sort of checks are in place in a country like this where we know how people can be shoddy with jobs generally? Does that also seep into that's part of things? I
think it's as safe, and I'll also defer to Dr. Wali, but I think it's as safe as it can be in Nigeria. Especially, and it differs with different states. Lagos State has done a really fantastic job, particularly, and I think Ibadan as well is working. Oyo State is working on their system as well. They've done a fantastic job in also having centralized screening. So now in Lagos State's blood transfusion service does all the screening of all the blood that is transfused into a patient.
So do you test before you take the blood or after you receive the blood?
So you take the blood and then you move it to Lagos State. So it's central screening system. And then Lagos State itself does the testing and stamps the blood and say this blood is clean and certified virus and it can be transfused into a patient.
So still talking about receiving now, do you face religious challenges for people who maybe need blood and they say, oh, my pastor or my imam or whatever, my religion is against receiving someone else's blood? How do you deal with situations like that?
There have been cases where you'd find, say, a mother who just gave birth would not want to accept blood because our church or our organization or our ethnic group doesn't accept or allow for receiving blood. And, the best you can do is try to convince and have that conversation with our relatives around. And sometimes they do eventually accept it, and sometimes they don't. There have been cases where they were discharged. You try as much as possible to use other sources, other things, other hematics rather, for getting their blood level up, but there's no replacement for blood. So the idea is to always try to have the conversation with the relatives, the importance, and let them understand that not much can be done if they don't get the blood that is needed to be given at that time.
Yeah.
I can give an example where a woman really actually wanted to get the blood, but the family and the relatives were still saying no. And eventually she called someone at this side and like, please give me the
Just
blood.
give me this.
And so they find a way around it, but it's still an actual problem.
Yeah.
So the idea is to continually have these conversations with opinion leaders, with church and ethnic groups, and things like that, and mosques even, to understand that blood is life.
Yeah.
So whoever needs it at a particular time, please let them get it.
Yeah. Very, very, very important.
Absolutely.
With donations now, what are the donor numbers with regards to your particular organization?
Right.
And maybe if you have an idea of what obtains nationwide.
Right. So we collect about between 1.8 and 2 million pints of blood every single year in Nigeria.
Okay.
So that's the need level. Still very low compared to our population, but
That's what
because
we
a lot
have.
of people die. That's what we do. Like yearly,
Yeah,
about
what do we
between
need?
1.7. So we probably need, off of the top of my head, about like 4 million based on our population to actually make sure no one dies from blood shortage, right? And 10% of the between 1.5 and 2 million that we collect is from voluntary donors. 60%
Just 10%?
Just 10%. 60% is from paid donors. 30% is from family replacement. Basically, you have a child and you have to give blood to your child. And then only 10% is from voluntary donor. At Life Bank, we're completely obsessed with getting that 10% to 100%. That's our big dream, to get that 10% to 100%. And what we have to do is ensure that the Nigerian people give blood for a man every 3 months and for a woman every 4 months. And we've built an app to make it easier. So we have this app, this web app that you can log on to on any phone and on your computer, lifebank.ng.
Okay.
So if you go there, you can log in and sign up. It takes only a minute, and we send you reminders every three months that it's time to give blood, and then you can book an appointment right off the app.
Who cannot give blood, very quickly?
Okay, who cannot give blood?
So people that can't give blood, you're looking at people with particular illnesses, of course, at that time, and then you're looking at their weight. You want someone who's heavier than 50 kg, thereabout. Usually you want someone who's around 18 and above, 18 to 65. And if minors can give, people younger than 18 can give, but with the consent of their parents or their guardian. Also, you're looking at people, of course, their blood level. You want to get blood from someone who has a lot of it or who has relatively amount of it, the right amount, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, those are basically the exclusions or the people that can't give blood.
Okay.
Yeah,
so when you actually go to the blood bank to give blood, the first thing they'll do is do a medical checkup. So they have to check your blood pressure, they have to check your weight, they have to check your temperature, they have to go give you a medical checkup. And once they realize that you're fine, you have enough blood in your body, you're not sick and you're well, then and only then can they actually collect blood. So it's pretty safe. The system, the process is very safe.
Are there any health benefits to giving blood?
Yes, there are. I mean, there are studies that show that people that give blood are less likely to get some cardiovascular diseases. Also, when you give blood, you sort of renew your blood. I mean, you have new blood cells. And then also, I recently read that there are some studies going on that shows that less chances of cancer if you give blood. I mean, and of course, there's still that good effect of I gave blood and I probably saved 3 people, up to 3 people. So I mean, there's all that advantages, all those advantages rather. That's
and I know you're a fit fam, right?
pint of blood,
when you give blood, you burn about 650 calories from just giving that one pint of blood.
You just made a lot of people excited.
So giving blood is fit fam, exactly.
Finally, now before we go, what does a day like this hope to achieve, the World Blood Donor Day?
So the World Blood Donor Day is, the theme this year is give blood, give often,
give now,
and give now. Give now, give often. And it's just making a habit, right? It's a good thing to do. It literally means someone's life. When you give that one bag of blood, there are only benefits for you. But what it means is you give someone a gift of life. Basically, I'm just going to save your life with this bag of blood. It's an incredible, selfless, amazing thing to do. And I am on a mission to make it a habit in Nigeria and to help save lives through.
Thank you very much, Timmy. Go to lifebank.ng.
Yes.
Like she said.
Yes.
Of course, thank you very much, Dr. Wali, for enlightening us. And
thank you.
I hope a lot of people have been gingered
yes,
to be a part of the movement. Please please make sure you are. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, thank you.
We'll
so
come back
much.
with more right here on Rubbin Minds. Please stay with us.
So let's dance now, it is my turn.